a feeling.
You can do that, correct? You can read music, right?
No, I can't.
So how do you jot?
Sulfur notes.
Well, that's some kind of reading.
Yeah.
You can jot down notations.
My phone.
Yeah, good. So obviously you can be inspired in your sleep. You wake up, and one of the first things you want to do is put it down. Put it down, put it down, put it down, put it down, put it down. Okay, so does anyone else have something to share about how inspiration comes to you? Okay, just say your name. All right, great.
What helps me to be inspired to write a song is when I go to a quiet area. When I go to a quiet area and I just sit and just forget about myself, a lot of things usually come. Usually there's one particular day where 3, 4, 5 different song concepts just come to me, and it's usually Sundays for some odd reason. But yeah.
Okay, great. So do you deliberately go out to these places to say you want to write a song, or you just happen to find yourself there and then, I mean, how does it happen for you?
Sometimes I get in the mood like I want to write a song. Nothing would be in my head, but when I go to that particular area, either a melody line or words or a concept just comes in my head. Sometimes I'm in class and maybe something that somebody does or somebody says or just anything that's going on in my environment, it just sticks in my head and I'm like, yo, that would be a good concept.
Great, true.
And I write it down.
It's quiet, peace and quiet. Just, an environment where you can take charge, where you're in control of the sound around you, to a certain extent, inspires you to write. Great. Does anybody else have an idea to share? Okay, tell me.
Sometimes I get inspired, maybe whenever I'm hungry.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, wow, that's special. That's the first. You get inspired when you're hungry.
Angry.
Angry. Oh, angry, not hungry. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, 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 yes. I can relate to that 100%.
Yeah. So recently, I've been able to work on my anger. So it's been very difficult to write.
It's been difficult to write.
Because I don't get angry again like I used to.
Okay. 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 Great. We'll talk about that and possibly what, in anger or in the space of anger triggers inspiration for you, because you'll be shocked to find out that it's really not anger. It's something else that is attached to how you feel at that point in time. And while it is good to get rid of, anger and how you feel and all of that stuff, you may be able to identify something that's triggered, that may not be as negative as anger, and how to positively use it to churn out your songs. So, okay, great. So, let me share with you a few instances where I have been inspired, and not just me, but quite a number of songwriters I've heard have been inspired. Sadness inspires you to write. Okay, it could come from anything: personal experience, the situation around you, whether it's the environment, whether it's it's politically motivated, whatever it is that causes you to feel a sense of responsibility or burden in your heart can inspire you to write a song. And sometimes it happens that the song that you're inspired to write is totally unconnected with the topic that inspires it. You know what I mean? So you could be inspired by, say, a fire outbreak or something, and you write a song that's totally unconnected. You may write a song that, that might even express joy, for all you know. And it's not because you're happy about what has happened, but, there's an inflow, and your mind just becomes receptive and opens, to receive from a cloud of, inspiration, and you begin to process and you begin to put ideas down. I'll tell you a couple of things that inspire me. I'm inspired when I'm in the bathroom. And it's so with a lot of people. You're inspired, the bathroom is that one place where I always say that the bathroom is a place where you're a physicist, you're an astronaut, you're a preacher, you're everything. You're many things. You know what I mean? So you find that you're inspired, in the bathroom. If you have a thing for flying, you are inspired mid-flight. Because it's also, and one of the reasons why that happens is, like Mussolini mentioned, you're in your own space. Even though you're with other people, for a time you're in your own space, And if you fly alone, you observe that you're probably not talking to anyone, and there's just that quiet, you know what I mean, that causes you to be, sometimes you're inspired by nature. You know what I mean? Going out to a place, a park or a meadow, somewhere where you can find trees and leaves and children playing. I mean a park, wherever. Those sort of places inspire you. And then something else that I would advise you to try, something I've been trying for some time now, and it has worked for me. Whenever you need to write a song, and you're looking for inspiration, try waking up early in the morning. Try waking up, say, 5 a.m. in the morning. And just let your mind, just meditate. Just let your mind go. Let your mind be easy. And think about that thing that you have to do, not in a conscious sort of, I have to get this done and out of the way today, because what that does is it impedes the easy flow of your mind. So think about it in the sense of just let your mind just ruminate, just let your mind just marinate on it, and allow especially words to come to you at that point in time. So one other thing I was going to talk about concerning songwriting is how it comes to you first. So there are instances where it comes to you as lyrics and instances where it comes to you as melody. For me, I know that it's usually melody first. And the reason why I like that is because music has been known to be very, very spiritual and very emotional, right? There's a lot that poetry can do, and poetry can move you, but there are melodies, there are for instance, how many of you know this? Imagine you in a big stadium listening to this. Do you see what it does? It controls your mood. It controls, you know what I mean? So it goes on and goes. You know what I mean? That makes you feel a certain way inside. You know what I mean? It's mixed feelings, it's emotions from, there's tension, and then coupled with whatever else might be happening at that time, or whatever else you might be thinking about. You understand? That's a power of music, even without words. Because words tend to be descriptive. Words tend to capture an event, a scenario. You know what I mean? For instance, I say to you, a vista of trees, right? A vista of trees is what I've told you, or a vista is what I've told you, right? In order to create a vivid, picturesque imagination of what a vista is, one of two things can happen. It's either you begin to see a vista, you know what I mean? Or you hear sounds that tell you that, you know what I mean? Like, it's, words are descriptive, but other sounds other than words can sometimes be more suggestive, more inspiring, more vivid, and more picturesque. And that's what music does. Okay? There are a lot of songs that it's just the melody by itself moves you. You know what I mean? So where words can be limiting, the melody can take your songwriting to another level. Which is why for me, I like that, I get my melody first, because once I know that I have that melody, in terms of what to say, because you are aware of the other, the bits, the tips or the techniques of writing a song, you can then apply those to create the right, the right flow of words to say what you want to say. So what are some of those word techniques that you can use to complement a befitting melody to create a good song? A lot of...
What a feeling!